Has anyone seen Cole Palmer? I can't seem to find him anyway. I'm looking under my bloody keyboard here. I can't see him at all. Absolutely no sign of the guy whatsoever. I've no idea. Is he behind my chair? I've got no fucking clue. Behind it. Nope, no sign of Cole Palmer. Cole? Cole? Is he under the bloody sofa? No. I haven't got a clue, to be honest. Last time I saw him was in Nathan Ake's pocket at Wembley Stadium as Manchester City won 1-0 and knocking Chelsea out of the FA Cup and into the FA Cup final we go. All banter aside, City rode their luck yesterday. We were a little bit fortunate, I do believe that, and it's caused a bit of a stir. Guess what? Everybody's crawled out from their rocks once again to spout their nonsense and their hatred for Manchester City. They loathe us. They cannot stand us. We are officially the epitome of footballing hatred right now. They cannot stand us. There's so much hatred being pushed towards Manchester City, and it's a familiar territory for Mancunians, the red side at least, because back in the 90s when they were top, everybody hated them. It was a constant barrage of hatred being pushed towards Alex Ferguson and Manchester United, even obviously from City fans, but outside of Manchester, everybody hated him. It's just this part of the world. It's great news. It's fantastic news for City because they call us irrelevant. They call us small. They say we've got no fans. All you're doing is pushing the attention towards us. You know, if you want something to stay irrelevant, you ignore it. You grey rock it. You know, they're constantly mouthing about Manchester City. What's that going to do? City, City, City. Then all of a sudden everyone's talking about City. Little old City, the irrelevant Manchester City. And all you're doing is talking about us and growing the brand as you do that. So thank you for that. Keep doing that because you're helping us in terms of our growth. And that hatred fuels a narrative that it's City versus everyone else. And I love that. I love that attitude. And that the world against us, the siege mentality. I love it. Absolutely love it. It's what fuels us. What do you think happened when the 115 charges was levelled at Manchester City? It fueled us. From that moment of the season, we went undefeated until the Premier League was won. And, you know, you want to keep pumping hatred our way. It's absolutely going to help us, you know. Now, I do want to talk about the Jack Grealish situation because that penalty incident for a start, because there are certain individuals out there, you know who I'm talking about, Mr. Goldbridge, if that is your real name. It isn't, but regardless, the Jack Grealish decision, obviously, I mean, I say obviously, there were some City fans that I spoke to yesterday that said that they didn't think it was a penalty. I completely disagree. I think it was a stonewall penalty. I think we got away with one. Absolutely. Now, the fans out there, they're going to be saying, well, that's not the first time City have got away with one, but there's been decisions that have gone against us this season. Obviously, the people are saying the Doku penalty, for a start, is the first one they go to with I mean, Jamie Carragher didn't think it was a penalty. I mean, Mr. Liverpool himself didn't think it was a penalty. And go back and look at what his opinion was on the situation. As a defender, he thought there wasn't enough force from Doku, and McAllister was already on his way down. I think there is an argument to be had, and it's a very grey area. I feel like there's if I'm a Liverpool fan, I'm claiming it. If I'm a City fan, I'm defending it. It's one of those. It's not as black and white as that, but there are other situations that have happened against Liverpool. Manuel Akanji charging into Alisson from the corner. As that ball comes in, Akanji leans into Alisson, doesn't get his arm up, doesn't grab his arm, to the point where Alisson's got that much freedom in the penalty box, he can raise his arms, catch the ball, and then drop it. And when he drops it, Ruben Dias puts it in. That would have been 2-0 Manchester City. That would have been 3 points for Manchester City, 2 more points than we've got right now, and 1 point less for Liverpool. The league table would have been done. We'd be top of the league comfortably now, still ahead of Arsenal, with a game in hand. So the league would have effectively been done had that correct decision been found. It wasn't. We move on. I didn't bitch and moan about it. But then you got Mark Goldbridge out there, who is the face of the footballing community right now, who is trying to rally the world against Manchester City, trying to cause a riot, stirring a riot, inciting a riot for the hatred of Manchester City. And quite frankly, I love it. I love it. This is what he's been saying recently.
Chelsea Man City yesterday. It's the most blatant handball in the penalty box you will ever see. It's 0-0. Chelsea are the better team. They get that penalty. They score it because Cole Palmer doesn't miss. They're 1-0 up. City are knackered. City are out. Michael Oliver's decision and the VAR completely changed the course of that game because of what? They don't want to follow the rules? It's not acceptable, and it's not the first time it's happened. We've seen an onside goal not given for Liverpool, which is probably cost them the title. There's been other decisions around handballs. All season, Wolves should have another 10 points. The integrity of this season is gone.
So the integrity of the season is gone, but you can't pick and choose your moments, mate. You can't pick and choose your moments as to when City have benefited from a decision and when we've been hurt from a decision. You can't ignore the ones that we've been hurt, because I've just given you one massive example where we were hurt much earlier into the season, which would have seen the end of Liverpool's title charge. You know, the point difference would have been massive. Now you're arguing the Doku one. Okay, if that's the case, then it's evened itself out. Really, now you're arguing about the FA Cup, in which there's been multiple decisions that have gone against multiple clubs, because guess what? Human error is a part of the game. Now he's trying to rally everybody and saying enough is enough. And then continuing the theme of everyone's against Manchester City, as much as there is something wrong with the game. There's something fundamentally wrong with football, and Manchester City are at the heart of it. He went on to say this.
In the football community, we are basically allowing this to happen all season and just going, what can we do about it? Well, enough is enough. And why are the mainstream quiet about it? Why are other websites quiet about it? Why are other influencers quiet about it? Because they're just chasing the bread. I've been doing Goldbridge Saves Football podcast with Will for a year, and we talk about the big things that are destroying football openly. It may have a bit of a cult following.
Because they're all chasing the bread. While you're here, let me try and sell my podcast to you. Come on, mate. Come on, be serious, man. This is the problem. Like, you know, how can you not see through? It's so transparent. So transparent. Honestly, after going on about all of the integrity of the game, and there's something very fundamentally wrong, and all these influence out there, they're just chasing the bread. That's all they want. They just want the money, you know. But while I've got you, do you want to buy my podcast? And everybody, please buy my podcast and send more money my way. Like, you can't have it both ways, Mark. You know, you've got to be real. And you want to talk about integrity, and you're the man. You're now the champion of Goldbridge Saves Football. Well, this is his reaction after the absolute ludicrous decision from the offside goal in the Manchester derby last season, where Marcus Rashford was, I mean, the whole footballing world, this footballing community that he's trying to rally, was all in agreement that it was the most piss-poor decision you've ever seen in Premier League football. This was his reaction, Mr. Goldbridge Saves Football.
Rashford doesn't touch the ball. Don't give me nonsense that he's interfering with play. Rashford doesn't touch the ball. So that's a goal.
Well, there's your integrity, mate. There's your integrity. It's an absolute joke. And then the BBC, they carried on themselves. Their hatred for Manchester City was clear. Gary Lineker, I mean, Gary Lineker was only asking the questions, in fairness, but Shearer followed up. And the outpouring of hatred towards Pep Guardiola following his... It was an outburst. Pep was ranting, effectively. Let me first play you what he said. I'll play you what Pep Guardiola said, first of all.
So I know this country is special for many things, but it's for the health of the players. So they are... I don't understand how we survive today. I don't understand.
Yeah. Have you raised that issue officially to the Football Association? Have you raised that issue, that you're concerned?
Gary, do you think an hour demanding is going to change something? The only power I have, I say here, is not going to change anything. I know it for many years. But why you play today and not tomorrow, one day off, when Coventry, United, Chelsea don't play in the midweek? So why? Why don't have one more day for the health for the players? I mean, as a manager, so tell me how you prepare this final against Chelsea in the best moment of the season and semi-final for give prestigious this cup. How? It's impossible. There's no chance. It's guys.
Pep, it might be our fault. It might be our fault, television.
you can change your squad around and play different players, though. You don't have to play so many players in the...
Cheers, Alan. You can change your players, apparently. Yeah, use your squad. That infamous, that myth that goes round that City have this monstrous squad, this unstoppable squad that no one can compete with. That phrase, 2 world-class players in every position, apparently. Well, here's your fucking squad lists, because that's Chelsea's squad versus Manchester City's squad size. I know there's some Chelsea Academy players, but that was the back of the programme. The back of the programme at Wembley Stadium. They are the squads that Chelsea submitted versus the 22-man squad that Manchester City submitted. Okay? 22-man squad. That's 2-11 aside. There's 3 fucking goalkeepers in our squad, so you do the math. There's not 2 world-class players in every single position. Physically impossible with 3 goalkeepers. Do the math. You know, you've got Rico Lewis, Phil Foden, Oscar Bob. Young players. I know Chelsea have got young players, but they could have rotated their squad. And Pep's absolutely right. And then you've got other people saying, well, in the Championship, you play this many games. And then over the course of... Well, you start your season earlier for a start in the Premier League. We're talking about the time difference between games, not the number of games. We're talking about the space between the two games. Now, can someone please explain to me why Coventry and Manchester United are on Sunday when neither of those two teams played in the midweek? Pep's made the perfect point. And this is why I have no problem with Manchester City's performance yesterday, and I'm absolutely buzzing and over the moon that we got through. I think there was problems in our game. We didn't play anywhere near our best, but there's an answer for that. There's a reason for that, and Pep's going into it now. And I think he's picked his perfect moment as well, because if he did this, if Pep Guardiola went under the microphone and said all these things, had we lost, can you imagine the hatred would be even more? It would be excuses this, excuses that. He's doing it when we've won. We've won. So for him to still say it shows that it's a problem. And Bernardo Silva went on and he had a rant after the game and saying it's true. And he's not the only one. When Klopp does it, everyone's like, Klopp knows what he's talking about, doesn't he? When Mikel Arteta does it, yeah, he's got a point. He's got a point. Because how are they going to compete with City? And they're two world-class players in every squad, which is fucking nonsense, as you can see. And then the continuation of Pep saying the exact same things, then it's a problem. Then it gets compared to Championship players and how much games they have to play, even though the gaps between the games are much bigger and more realistic. And they tend to have much bigger squads in terms of the number of players. So, yeah, Pep chooses this, by the way. This isn't a case of City need to go and spend and expand their squad. Pep chooses this, but the 22-man squad should be enough to compete in the games that we want to compete in. But it's the scheduling of them, not the number of games. It's the space between them is the problem, not the number of games. People focusing on the wrong problem here. Yeah, and people saying like, oh, but he earns a load of money. They all earn a load of money. You go and earn 300 grand a week and then play football at that standard, Champions League, then FA Cup semi-final after 120 minutes midweek. You go and play a game of 90 minutes 3 days later after playing Real Madrid for 120 minutes. Let's see how you do. Regardless, if you paid $500,000, if you paid £1 million a bloody minute, you wouldn't be able to do it. They're not fucking robots. They're human beings, and the science backs up their argument. The FA, the Premier League, UEFA, FIFA, they don't give two shits. They don't give two shits. It's all the money that's coming in. That's what they care about. And then people compare it to, oh, well, Manchester City go on pre-season tours. Why don't they stay at home? And wouldn't they get better rest? And travel is demanding compared to 120 minutes against Real Madrid. Sitting on a plane for 8-9 hours or however long it takes, whichever part of America or wherever part of the world you're going to, you know, they're going for pre-season training. Yes, they make money from it. But you're comparing a pre-season tournament to the quarterfinals of the Champions League and the impact that does. Have you ever played a football match? Have you even gone to play five-a-side yourself? If you've got the ability to walk and play football, have you tried running for an hour? And then tell me how you feel the next day. It's all depending on fitness levels, of course. Because if I'm talking to some 25-stone bloke who's never lifted his fucking legs off the floor in his life, then yes, I get it. You probably don't understand it. You probably don't understand it, and you're sitting there pointing at your TV, asking for more from people. I get it. But the truth is that this is a problem, and Pep Guardiola's just highlighting it after an FA Cup win. It is as simple as that. That's as simple as it can possibly be. And then you compare people saying, well, back in my day, all the United fans, back in my day, we played all those games. No, you didn't. When Manchester United won the treble, do you know what they did the next year? They withdrew from the FA Cup because it was too many games. You know, the prestigious Manchester United not entering the prestigious FA Cup. Oh, how dare they? No one said a word. Not a problem. You know, but here we are defending our FA Cup. We're in the FA Cup final as well, and it's a problem. It's a problem for everybody. It's the most two-faced, bent industry you've ever seen in your life, and we are considered the most hated football club in the world, and I actually enjoy it. I love it. I drink it. I sip your tears, mate. I love it. Delicious. I could do it all day long. Keep it coming. Blues, get in the comments below. I want to hear your thoughts. Like and subscribe to Typical City, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is Typical City now, holding up Silverwood.